Hi, I guess you've all been following the entire boys' locker room debacle. I'm here today to actually share a story about myself. I've always been told that I'm extremely lucky to be able to stand on stage and speak and to have the confidence and stuff. So as I was growing up, it was in third standard that I first got on stage to do public speaking because my mom really wanted me to do it, and she trained me really, really well. I was born and brought up in Ras Al Khaimah, UAE. So my first stage was obviously over there, speaking, in terms of speaking. So we moved back to India, and Keralathil ഞങ്ങൾ വന്നു. So I got a lot of opportunities over here as well, because in my area, in my locality, there were very few girls who would, come up and talk about things, or, have do anchoring and speak on stage and stuff like that. So everybody was fascinated about a Muslim girl doing this, and I was taken to a lot of stages to perform. I was also taken in TV shows to talk about things, to do Kusruti Chodyangal and all that. And our time, I have always noticed how I would കുസൃതി ചോദ്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ചെയ്യാൻ ടി വി ഷോയിൽ പോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് 3ാം ക്ലാസ് 4ാം ക്ലാസ് പഠിക്കുന്ന ടൈമിലാണ് കേട്ടോ. അപ്പോൾ when I would go to the streets to talk, to ask questions for this കുസൃതി ചോദ്യം segment in the television, there would be men going like, ഈ കുട്ടി ഈ നാട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെയാണോ and stuff. And I was actually okay with that, because maybe they're not used to seeing girls like that, And I was really young, so it was okay. And mom would tell me, hey, it's okay, it's nice that, they're all surprised that, girls are coming up like this. And this is a really good thing, because a few more girls would come up. And I was so happy about it. I was so happy that my parents were so supportive and they wanted me to do stuff like this. And, people were giving me opportunities. And then when I was in like 5th grade or something, I got this opportunity to anchor on a stage along with an already very professional male anchor, and I was in 4th grade on stage. So it was the town hall, and in the town hall there were a lot of people, majority of men and youth. So when I went up on stage, I was a very young kid, so I couldn't really speak Malayalam perfectly. So my mom had written down something for me in a piece of paper, which I learned, which I studied really well, and I went on stage and I said it out loud. The moment I said it out loud, it felt like it was the entire crowd to me, but obviously it was not the entire crowd. A section of boys, young boys, cooed at me very loudly. They said, "Coo," as if they wanted me to get out of the stage. And I did. Right after I finished my sentence, I got out of the stage and I went backstage and I cried. I cried saying, there's no way I'm going back to the stage. I'm not going to speak anymore. There's no way I'm anchoring anymore, because I was hurt, okay? I was so hurt. And my mom said, it's okay. It's okay. They're not used to seeing girls do these things. So it's okay, and they'll get used to it. And my dad said, you just have to take it as a compliment. It's okay. When they boo or when they coo, you should consider it as, them encouraging you. So the next time they do something like that, you say thank you. You feel like they're empowering you. Like they're doing that because it's wow, it's awesome. Even though it took some time for me to accept that, to say that, okay, it's okay, I'm still gonna go up on stage, it's okay that some people cooed at me, I will still go back up there. It took me a while to actually, consider that. And after a few months or years, I don't exactly remember, I went back, in 5th grade. In 5th grade, I did another TV show again, and then I started doing anchoring in itself. But it was never easy doing anchoring in my hometown or in the district of mine, okay? So, because I would have audience who would always pass comments at me. But by the time I reached in 6th grade and 7th grade, people were cooing, and then I realized that, it's okay if they coo, and if I consider it as a compliment, it's not that big of a problem anymore. So I started saying thank you for honoring me when they started cooing, and that was okay for a while. But then I grew up. At that point of time, I was just a child who was being booed at or cooed at. But then I grew up. When I grew up, people started seeing me as a lady, as a girl, as a woman who was standing on stage and speaking, a Muslim woman. I was not a Muslim girl anymore. So, as I grew up, the comments or the remarks started changing. It started turning into stuff like, what is she doing on stage? Where are in kitty? And it was never because I wasn't good at what I was doing, and it was only because I was a girl. I don't know why, but this is so hard for me. I've been trying to record this for a while and it's not really working out. So yeah, and then I started growing, right? So these comments started changing as well as I grew up. So recently, last year, I had to anchor for a very big show. It was a 3-day program, so I had to anchor all the 3 days, and it was a huge program. It was not very easy to do it, and I had come only for this, especially for that, and it was a big deal to me because it was happening in my hometown. I was so excited about it, and I was very happy about it that I could do it as well. But I wanted somebody else along with me as well to share the work, because it was very difficult for me to handle it alone, because it was a lot, and it was 3 days, it was continuous, it was a lot, and I was losing my voice as well, and it needed a lot of energy. So by the second day, I'd already lost my voice completely, but I still went on with it. And the first day, I heard quite a lot of comments that said stuff like "Erangi podi" and "Endha evidenda cheyunne ninakku vera pani ille," and booed a lot at me, discouraged me a lot at every question that I asked about, saying, "Are you excited? Or do you want to know what the next performance is?" It was always no that was coming back at me. It kept happening that way. Okay. So the second day, I decided to tell the volunteers over there to make sure that women stayed in the front, not men, not boys especially, because it was very difficult for other women as well to be able to see what was happening on stage. Plus, I couldn't handle all this words and sentences that was coming out of these people's mouths. So the second day, it wasn't that bad. I don't know why, but the third day, the entire crowd in the front was filled with these kind of boys. And there were volunteers, there were people whom I knew, people who were personally related to me, a lot of people standing in the front along with these boys as well. So it was a very mixed crowd. There were women as well along in the front, but there were majority of boys, young boys, teenagers or boys in their 20s mostly. And as I was anchoring, and I had actually lost my voice, but I was still going on at it. It was not very clear, but I was still hosting. I heard stuff like, "Nee ende veetilekku vaadi, ninakku njan kaanichu tharam, nee varunno ende kude, nee porumo," and it started getting worse and worse and worse, and there were sexual remarks, and it was not just me who heard this. I know for a fact that everybody who was standing near the stage, everybody who was standing next to them, could hear what they were saying. I was getting worse, I don't even want to talk about the exact comments or the sentences that they used, but everybody over there could hear it. Nobody responded, but the guys who were saying it, their friends were cheering, like, "Oh, you said that back, you said that to the host on stage, wow, you're so brave, we'll give you a chocolate." And there were instances where it was such a crowded event, like there was 7,000, 8,000 people in the event, and even though I wanted to say things back to that boy, I couldn't, because I didn't want to lose the sanctity of the event. I didn't want to be the person who ruined the event. I just wanted it to go well, and I didn't want to make people who were organizing it feel bad. So I didn't say anything on stage. I just kept going. I ignored those comments like I did not even hear it, and I went ahead with it. So one of my friends came up to me and asked me, "Hey, I will do the rest. You take some rest. You know what? I will continue. It's okay." And I knew that this person was telling me this just because they heard the comments that were going on, and they felt like if I would go away, then the comments wouldn't come anymore. Like that was the actual solution to a problem, and that hurt me even more. Like, I can't tell that person that it's hurting me, that you're saying this to me, you're trying to suppress me. I couldn't tell that person that, but I just said, "Hey, it's okay. I will still do it. I will be here. It's okay. You continue. I'll still stand with you. We'll do it together." I said that. So we did it together, and it's not like the thing stopped, and it just happened when it was with me. When I was talking is the only time when these comments were coming up, because the other person's a boy, so obviously to a boy it's not coming up. So don't tell me this is not about gender. This is totally about gender, and don't tell me this is about generation, because it's been years that I have been going through this. I know I am ranting, and probably I am going really fast, and my voice is also breaking slightly, but I know I'm getting a little emotional about this, but I think this needs to be said, right? I just want to ask that these people, everybody from that audience who heard that, everybody who knew me who heard that, nobody spoke up for me. Nobody at that point asked those boys to stop saying what they were saying. Nobody told them what they were saying is wrong. Nobody said what they were saying would hurt me or it was completely wrong and misogynistic. Nobody. Doesn't that mean that everybody over there was also going along with it? That they're also responsible for it? Doesn't that mean so? What did anybody gain or get out of that? Why did people laugh when those boys asked me those questions? Today when I saw the boys' locker room screenshots and the whole thing about it, this story just came into my head. I mean, what I went through just came into my head, and I cried today a lot. I remember that day after the event, after the third day, that night, I cried myself to sleep for hours. I was crying for hours and hours and hours on end because I couldn't take it. Nobody came and asked me how I was feeling or if I was okay. But there were people who came and told me, hey, I heard them say this and you might have felt bad. It's okay, leave it. Or just to ignore them, it's okay. But nobody told them what they did was wrong. Nobody confronted them. People who were downstage could have done that. Nobody did. Nobody did. Especially boys who were their friends or who knew them around them. Especially boys who knew me, who knew that something like that was happening, could have, but nobody did. You know, this is our problem. This is our problem. We stay out of things. We think that it's okay. They're the ones doing bad. So it's okay. I'm just watching it happen. I'm not a part of it. But you are, you know. When you're not stopping it, you are a part of it. When you're not doing anything about it, you are a part of it. I'm sorry to say this, but you are very much a part of it. To all the people who were saying that I was only in the group, but I was not active. I was not taking a part in the conversations about, you know, defiling those women. So I shouldn't be tagged along with them as a perpetrator. You're wrong. You were in the group. You kept quiet. You stayed there. You watched it all happen. That counts against you. So to all the people who see these things happening but never stop it, to all the people who see rape and, you know, abuse happening but never stop it. I know people who've gone through a lot of abuse on trains and buses, not just girls, also boys who go through abuse in the bus, in public places, and people see it, but they don't stop them. They just ignore it until and unless maybe the child screams or the child asks for help. Nobody says anything. Do you think that is okay? I know this is a very long video and I'm still shivering because this is something that I've always been wanting to talk about. I really do not want to go through this in my hometown, or actually I don't want any girl or any person to go through something like this anymore, because it's not easy for us. We have so many struggles to be where we are today, and you're just demeaning everything. And to all the people who are not even standing up for us, what are you doing? Why aren't you standing up for us? You just complimenting us for what we are doing is not exactly what we need. We need you to stand up for us when we need you. It's not easy for us. It's really not easy for us. So you may have all your activism online. You may speak up for women and against people who do all of these vile stuff, but that's not enough. It's not enough for you to speak up online. It's also very important for you to take a stand for the women around you when they're actually going through stuff. This might seem like a very little incident to you, but it has hurt me very badly inside of me, and I still carry it around. I am still so scared of somebody saying something like that from the audience when I'm anchoring on stage sometimes. And that fear is very real. I don't even know how many of you have reached to this point of the video. I know it's really long and it was an emotional rant, I hope I haven't bored any of you, but my point is that it's not enough to say that it's wrong online. It's very important to stand up for what's right when you can. You can't just say that don't ruin the name of the family, don't ruin the event, don't ruin the program, when something very terrible such as a harassment is happening to the girl next to you. That makes you a hypocrite if at the same time you speak up for women but never actually stand up for them. A few years back, me and my mom, we conducted this event called White Ribbon Campaign as a part of Arthavayanam. A few years back, we opened the White Ribbon Campaign. So in White Ribbon Campaign, what happens is men speak up, men educate men about abuse and awareness. The point is that when women speak about these things, right, men don't listen because it's a woman speaking. But when men speak up about these things, men feel like, oh, okay, there's something to be heard in this. So I thought maybe at least, that will help. I just don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. So the men in my life in itself who are feminists, who call themselves feminist, but do not stand up for us, do not really, stop their friends from saying things like, for example, when 6 to 7 boys are in a group sitting together and one of the boys saying something about a girl like, oh my god, she's so hot, look at her, this private part, that private part, oh my god, I would tap that ass and stuff like that. If you listen to that but you do not respond, if you don't say anything back, if you don't tell him that what you are saying is wrong, dude, how can you say that? Dude, I can't believe that came out of your mouth. Stop saying that. That's very offensive. That's wrong. If you don't respond like that to your friend but you just laugh it off instead, I'm sorry, friend, you're a part of it. You're a part of the problem. I'm very sorry, but you're a part of the problem. So my point is basically that this just does not happen in a private boys group only. This happens in public, and everybody watching it also do not respond, do not do anything about it, and that makes it even a bigger problem. If they can get away with it in public, they can obviously get away with it in private. Don't you think so? Thank you for listening to me. I know it has been an emotionally huge long rant, but if you have watched the entire thing, you have my heart. You literally have my heart. So do let me know what you think. Please do write to me if you have anything to tell me about, similar incidents or things that have happened to you as well. I will be here listening. I just hope that, more men out there do respond and react when their counterparts, when their friends say such wild things. Don't support, don't laugh. Tell them what they're doing is wrong. Call them out. Call them out. Thank you.